Welcome to Stick at Night. I'm your freeholder representing the great cities of Hoboken and Jersey City, Anthony L. Romano. I'm very excited today with our guest, someone that to me has brought a vibrancy and an energy to a program that I would say was just in flux. And that is the new athletic director of St. Peter's University, who I've come to really respect and have a great friendship with, Bryan Felt. Bryan, welcome.
Thank you, Anthony. Thanks for having me.
Tell us about you, Bryan. Where you from, and how'd you wind up at Harvard on the Hudson?
Well, I'm from New Jersey, from Union County area, Berkeley Heights. Live in New Providence now. Went to Seton Hall University as an undergrad. Met my wife there. She's from New Jersey, from Wayne, New Jersey, and we settled here in Jersey. And I've been working at Seton Hall for the last 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've now been a year at St. Peter's. And
what'd you do at Seton Hall?
So at Seton Hall, various things. I started my career at Seton Hall working in fundraising, kind of worked my way up through the fundraising channels, if you will. Oversaw athletic fundraising for many years. Then worked my way over overseeing marketing and ticketing and all of the external for the department. And I was a senior associate AD for the last several years at Seton Hall.
And you also have a wonderful son that I had the pleasure of meeting.
You've met my oldest. Yes, I have 3 kids, but you've met Tyler, my oldest, and I have Kyle and Kelsey as well. So yeah.
Well, you came into a program that has been having some bumps.
Sure.
The previous athletic director ran into a firestorm, and believe it or not, I mean, we're Division I, and we are part of the MAC conference, which is a very competitive conference. Yeah. Where do you feel your biggest impact has to be made, and what are your goals, and what are you attempting to do, and how?
Well, I think you said a phrase that you said, we are Division I, and I think sometimes that maybe had gotten lost, and I think that's gotten lost in the culture. So I think that's really been the biggest focus, is changing the culture. You know, changing the way we approach the things we're doing, internally and externally, getting our fan base, creating more of a fan base, getting alumni more involved. It's kind of a big universal project, if you will, when you talk about changing a culture. But that's been the #1 priority, has to, not only change the culture on campus, but off campus. And getting people to realize we have a Division I program here in Jersey City. We have some tremendous young men and women that wear the St. Peter's uniform each day and compete and represent this great university. So now it's a matter of getting everyone to kind of think the right way and act the right way, like a Division I program, and that's what we're doing. And not to say that it wasn't being done before, but I think we're just trying to put more of a focus on it. And that's so far, I think we've made some nice strides in year 1 for myself. I think we've made some progress. We certainly have a lot of work to do. You mentioned the MAC conference. It's a very competitive conference. It's a fantastic conference with schools throughout the region, from Monmouth all the way up to Buffalo areas, from Canisius and Niagara and Ionas and Manhattans. So it's competitive, and we have not been competing in all of our sports as well as we could have been, and that's our goal now, is to try and get our programs to be competing for MAC championships every year.
Well, as I've been observing your performance, I have to say you know how to work with people. You interact well. You've reached out to the alumni. I know, for example, in Hoboken, Matt McGrath is the principal of Hoboken Catholic School, and he was telling me the other day at their golf tournament, I golfed with him. Oh, I missed it, but what's going on up there? Wow, finally we got contacted. Buddy Matthews. And I had the pleasure of, you had the alumni baseball game, right, and you and Coach Dan, and I thought that was a great experience. We had a lot of fun, seen a lot of faces, and also, just even by the nice shirts that you gave us as alum, made an impression that, and we have to be there for you. We have to help you because it's such a difficult challenge with the financial situation. And then you just hired a basketball coach. Tell us about him.
Well, I mean, basketball really being the premier sport of the conference, it drives the bus essentially for us, no question, men's, women's hoops. In year 1, had to hire a new men's and a new women's basketball coach, and I'm excited that we brought 2 really impressive individuals onto campus. On the women's side, we brought Mark Mitchell. Mark came from FDU Madison, or FDU Florham Park, where he won the conference championship 6 out of 8 years. It's a Division III program. He won the national championship at Division III, and not only won the national championship, he won the national championship going undefeated. I think it was 33-0.
Wow.
So he could win. And he was a Division III coach who I thought this was a perfect opportunity for him to get his Division I shot. So I'm excited to see what he can do for the women's program, and he's brought a great staff on board. Men's basketball, I brought someone that I was certainly very familiar with, and I think a lot of New Jersey basketball fans were familiar with, was Shaheen Holloway. And Shaheen played at Seton Hall. He was the associate head coach at Seton Hall for several years. He's been an assistant at Iona, so he knows the MAC. And he's from New York, he's from Queens, but he went to school at St. Pat's in Elizabeth. So he's known in the region. And that's been a big help.
Did he go to school with Jerry Walker? That was
so he went to school after Jerry. Jerry's older. But part of some great teams, much like Jerry was, and Shaheen in his own right, helped lead a team at Seton Hall to the Sweet 16, so he knows how to win as well. And already in his first year, and same with Mark, they've done a nice job recruiting, bringing in some kids I don't know if we normally would have had the connection to get. We've brought some New York City kids in, some Jersey kids.
Bergen Catholic. I was in a restaurant, and I was so proud that Shaheen, asked me to come over and say hello.
That's great.
And that's another sign of, we're city, right. and city ball here. We got to get that excitement back, and I think you and Shaheen are going to do that. Yeah. And you can feel it. And then coach and director, it's a tribute to you both.
Thank you. Well, we understand the importance of our community, and I think Jersey City, we're fortunate to be in Jersey City, and I think just as Jersey City is fortunate to have a Division I program within the city, and we want to embrace all of our community and get people involved, have them come out to games, and just really kind of be part of the excitement that we're trying to build.
At one time, St. Peter's girls basketball was one of the premier programs in the country.
Phenomenal.
Under the legendary coach Mike Grinelli from Hoboken, and then all of a sudden it went into a decline. But I think Coach Mitchell is going to. I was very hopped up listening to both of them speak at your basketball tip-off dinner, which was again a nice event. In fact, Congressman Sears came, who played at St. Peter's, and he had said to me downstairs, "Oh, let's go. I want to go upstairs and see what's going on up there."
That's great.
And I think that's important. And you made us both feel special. Had the honor of saying a few words, and we're going to try to help you raise money. I think another thing that you're doing, and you're going to tell us after the break, what you're doing finally with the Anatelli Center. Yeah. I think the Anatelli Center was built just before I even got to think about 74, 75.
You're about right. I think it was 75. Was the year
75, and nothing's been done to a facility, and that's incredible in that amount of time. Upgrades needed, and you're spearheading an effort to do that. I want everybody in the audience that, whether you're a St. Peter's alum or not, if any financial help that you could give and donate, what Bryan is trying to do here is make our Anatelli Center a premier center for athletic events here in Jersey City and Hudson County, and we need to support it as a community. And when we come back, Bryan, I'll give you some details on that. How do you see the response so far about your program?
People are ecstatic that they see the progress, the commitment that's there by the school to really change the facility. And we talked about earlier about things that are at the top of my list, and certainly culture is always going to be there, but facilities are pretty much 1A.
Well, we're going to come back here after a break and talk with this wonderful new athletic director at St. Peter's. I'm your freeholder, Stick at Night. Be right back.
Did you know that all New Jersey voters are entitled to vote by mail? It's true. Thanks to changes in state law, registered voters don't need a special reason to vote by mail. Now you can save time and cast your ballot from the privacy of your own home with Vote by Mail. Want to learn how? Contact the Hudson County Clerk's office at 201-369-3470 or visit us on the web at hudsoncountyclerk.org.
Voting by mail has never been easier. Just follow these steps to ensure your vote will be counted. Open your envelope. You will find your certificate, return envelope, and official ballot. When casting your ballot, use only a pencil, black, or blue ink, not red. Completely fill in the oval to the right of each selection. When writing in, do not repeat a name printed on the ballot. If torn or damaged, your vote will not be counted. Fold your ballot and place it in the pocket of the certificate before sealing it with the adhesive strip. Do not detach the strip and paper from the certificate. Fill out the required information on the certificate and don't forget to sign. If you are not mailing or delivering your ballot in person, make sure both you and the bearer of the ballot sign your name and address on the certificate and return envelope. After that, just place it in the mailbox and your vote will be counted. For more information, you can visit our website at www.hudsoncountyclerk.org or www.hudson.
Hudson TMA reminds you that before you ride, you should perform the ABC Quick Check. Here's how to do it.
You don't want your bike to fail you. So get in the habit of doing the ABC Quick Check before you ride. A is for air. Check that your tires are properly inflated. They should be pumped up to the inflation rating printed on the tire. Many bicycle pumps come with a pressure gauge, so you can make sure they're properly inflated. Low pressure tires can easily puncture. B is for brakes. Check that your brakes are working. Your brake lever shouldn't come closer than a thumb's width to the handlebar. Your wheels should spin freely when the brakes are off. C is for the cranks, chain, and cassette. Grab both crank arms like this and wiggle them to make sure they aren't loose. Spin the pedals and make sure the chain runs smoothly through the gears. Quick means making sure your wheels are on tight if you have quick release wheels. The wheels should be snug in the dropouts and the quick release lever fastened tight.
Welcome back to Stick at Night with your freeholder Anthony Romano and our exciting guest who has revitalized St. Peter's University Athletic Director Bryan Felt. Let's continue, Bryan. Tell us what you want to do with Yanatelli. And
it's a big project. The Yanatelli certainly is in need of some major renovations, and I think anybody that's been on campus recently could tell you that, or anyone that's been in
I don't think it's ever been touched in 43 years.
There's been some things done, but you're right. It definitely needs to be. It definitely needs a major overhaul. And the university has really committed to the fundraising efforts to really kind of help with that. There'll be a campaign that the university will soon launch, and athletics will be the focal point of that campaign. And the project itself is massive, depending on how you tackle it. But I think we could phase it and really kind of get some key pieces done that will be very impactful for our student athletes. In the next several years. For
our audience, just to get some idea, for example, the swimming pool, like what would be a problem with the swimming pool?
The swimming pool needs work. There's no question about it. It's just an older facility, and the pool has needs. I think really the things that are exciting about the pool. That people probably won't get excited about, but
it's Olympic.
It needs more mechanical, the mechanicals, the filtration, filtration, all that stuff needs to be
overhauled
updated.
And replaced.
Yeah, it needs to be updated. And so almost every facet of the pool we need to update it, and it's on the list as part of a major plan.
The gymnasium.
Yeah, the Yanatelli itself and the gymnasium, the court and everything. We want to do some things. I think seating wise, we need to make some updates just for the fan perspective of it. I mean, we've got the old wooden bleachers in there. We want to put in the composite, with the seat chair backs in them, and really update the scoreboards, because our scoreboards they're
from the 60s.
Yeah, they're old boards. So really kind of update all of it. I'd love to get rid of the drop ceiling that's there and kind of really give it more of an arena feel, open it up to make it feel a little bigger, improve the lighting. Things like that can be done that will make a giant difference at the end of the day.
Well, hopefully we can get Coach Hurley involved to help raise the funds. Jersey City legend and just a great man himself, and I'm sure he'll gladly help.
And Bob has been great. Coach has been phenomenal. He's been very helpful. I've met with him on a couple of occasions. We've spoken, and he's a proud alumnus who's been lending support to the committees and things like that on campus. So,
and I think that's important. Again, involving people such as Coach Hurley.
Absolutely.
So when you figured the first phase to start?
I'd love to see I think we're working right now with our facility folks and some of our significant donors that have stepped up to make some nice contributions.
Didn't the Panapintos just give?
Panapintos were completely very, very generous to the university. They obviously in his recent announcement of making a $10 million gift to the school, which is, it's incredible.
And got Frank Guarini.
And we're working on the designation for some of those gifts. But I know.
But does anything go to athletics?
Absolutely, athletics will be a significant part of that. We're very excited about that, and so Joe's been wonderful. Folks like Tom McMahon and so many generous people have really stepped up and said, listen, we want to help get this done. And we're going to work on figuring out how we go about it. I think within the next 2 years, we hopefully will start tackling phase one. In terms of what that'll be, that's what we're still trying to figure out and work on. I mean, there's internal things that the building needs that just aren't that exciting. You got some HVAC repairs. You got to have all those kind of things that need to be done. But they're essential pieces to the building. But then there are things like the gym, the top of the building itself. You have a bubble right now. I think I'd love to see a roof be put on top of the building, put a field house up there. Benefits the entire campus community, the local community. It's a facility that really can be state of the art and used for all kinds of different recreation needs. So those are key pieces that.
Well, I hope you stay strong to your convictions and not buckle, because you're right. That the bubble hole setup up on top of the roof is antiquated, and it was never properly utilized.
Right.
And it's obsolete.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the right progress. Are you getting cooperation from the school itself?
The school's been wonderful. Dr. Kronakia, Anthony Skavakis, all the people on the executive cabinet have been very supportive of athletics. That's who I work with on a daily basis on it. So.
Brings in the bucks too.
Yeah,
Let's face it.
I think everyone realizes what athletics, a Division I program, can do for a university. I mean, there's that old saying. They say it's the front porch of a school, and in many ways that's correct. I mean, you know, this is what folks are going to see. You know, our basketball team this year is going to go down and play Auburn, who's number 11 in the country. We're going to play Clemson, who I think is like 21st and 22nd in the country. These are nationally, you know, recognized
We still play
games.
Rutgers.
We're not playing them this year, but we're going to try and get them back on.
That used to be exciting games. Bob Fazio against Hollis Copeland and Phil Sellers.
Well, I think the last time we played them only 5 or 6 years ago, St. Peter's beat them. So
and reach out to Bobby Fazio too. He's a big, proud alumni.
Absolutely.
With the baseball, I know we came up at the freeholder meeting last night. You lease part of Lincoln Park West, also known as the Jarashak Field.
Right. Yeah.
And we're trying to hope that we can help in some way get that field to be, again, good and when other teams come to visit.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, the fields are a big part of our facility. When we talk about the Anatelli, the Jarashak Fields is really the other part.
And the girls' softball is big, too.
Well, we have softball, baseball, and both our soccer programs. And right now, both our soccer programs have made some tremendous improvements. Our men's soccer program right now has a winning record and is competing for a MAC, championship berth.
You know who was the previous successor there, too? Again, Coach Mike Grinelli.
Yeah, well, Mike Grinelli's a legend. That I know. I've spoken with Coach Grinelli.
Oh, yeah, you do.
He's the best. He's fantastic.
And very blunt, like a knife. But we all love him.
Certainly know where he stands.
He's adored in Hoboken. He was great as a young boy, looking up to him. And he ran the YMCA in Hoboken. And again, people like Coach Grinelli and Coach Hurley that you've reached out shows me a lot about you.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud and impressed that you've done that.
Well, I think it's important. We always have to, you have to embrace your history as much as, in order to really kind of move forward and be successful down the road.
And you were talking about the fields. I didn't mean to.
No, well, in the fields, I mean, honestly, they need work as well. Right now we actually have, today actually, steel is going in the ground for brand new scoreboards for all 3 fields.
Oh, wow.
But, our baseball and softball programs didn't even have scoreboards, so that's an upgrade. We're replacing the soccer scoreboard because it's an old football scoreboard. So we're putting new scoreboards out there, and then we're going to actually redo the backstops on softball and baseball because they're really just they're incredibly old and rusty and out of
Listen, you got my son to get back out there, and the other day he had a great time.
So you guys are looking good. You guys have been out in the softball field lately.
Him, not me.
But we're going to work on those fields, and I think honestly the overall plan would be we have to raise, if we want to continue to play on that space, the ground needs to be raised just because of the location where it is near the water, and we'd love to turf it.
Well, I was just going to say that. Let's work together and see how we can. We've turfed all the fields in Lincoln Park on the other side,
and we've had to use them several times.
And that was our home. That was our home field too. We had to just move around and get a diamond wherever we could. When I played there, so it's important. And Lincoln Park is a crown jewel. Freeholder Bill O'Day has always been in the lead there to keep that park the way it is. And as times change, it's important. You have the golf course now right over on the other side.
And our golf teams use it for practice every now and then. I've gotten out there. It's a beautiful course.
Great. Well, that's good to know too. That the audience should know that our county facilities are open to the school, and the school does use it.
Absolutely. Yeah. No,
so you're a good golfer then, huh?
I wouldn't say I'm a good golfer. I enjoy golf.
I think you probably are. When we come back from our commercial break, we're going to continue this discussion and see how St. Peter's fits into the community, works together with the other schools, and a surprise that I found at the dinner the other night when Rich Enza, who is our public relations person when I went and played at St. Peter's, is now one of the commissioners of the MAC conference, and it's good to have those connections. So I'm your freeholder, Anthony Romano. We'll continue this conversation with the new athletic director. I shouldn't say new, he's been there for a year, Bryan Felt. We'll be right back.
Hudson TMA reminds you that whenever you are out on your bike, there are several things you must remember to stay safe.
That means when you ride in the street, ride in a straight line with traffic on the right side of the road. Riding against traffic is dangerous. It puts you where the driver of a car isn't expecting you.
Meaning he might turn in front of you, or worse, into you.
And you know what that means.
Ouch.
And if you're riding with friends, always ride single file. And here's something else to remember. Always obey traffic lights and signs, and pay attention to lane markings.
When you see one of these, stop. When you see one of these, yield. Traffic might be coming from one side or the other.
Now, since your bike doesn't come with turn signals,
Use your hands.
but always check for traffic before you turn. Do this to turn left, this to turn right. Also, some states allow you to do this to turn right, and do this to stop.
Welcome back to Stick.
Attention. Parents of children in Hudson County school districts, including Harrison, West New York, Jersey City, Hoboken, and Union City. You may qualify for free or low-cost childcare. The Urban League of Hudson County is providing parents with the opportunity to apply if eligible for before and after school care for children 3 and 4 years old. Find out how. Come to our offices or call at 201-451-8888 extension 186. Urban League of Hudson County.
Welcome back to Stick at Night. I'm going to get right to it with the AD here. I don't want to miss any conversation and get short. Go ahead, Director, tell us about what you were just saying about the fields and Richie Enzer we were talking about.
Well, we talked about Richie. Rich Enzer, I mean, he's been the commissioner of the MAC for many, many years, and what he's done for that conference is extraordinary.
We're going to get him on the show.
Well, we should, because, I mean, and to have a St. Peter's alum in that position is incredible as well. And Rich has been just tremendous for me in my first year, and kind of, you know, giving me some little bit of backstory every time I need it at St. Peter's, or just obviously within the conference. And so he's a great relationship for everyone to have at the school and within Jersey City. So, yeah, Rich is wonderful.
Well, for myself, I'm proud of our 4 educational institutions. I'm a graduate of both St. Peter's undergraduate and NJCU graduate. I have a good connection with Stevens from living in Hoboken, and the new president, Dr. Bryan. I'm on the board of Hudson County Community College. How do you see the colleges now? On the athletic level, it wouldn't be a real big interaction because we're in the MAC. But have you maintained and established relationships with those other institutions?
You know, I think it's important to make sure, you know, you have to be.
Stevens got a great field.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you're right. I mean, but higher educational institutions are pillars within the community. I mean, they really are. I mean, they do such a great service in terms of educating youth, and adults can go back to going to school at certain locations like Hudson Community and NJCU and all that. So, and I was fortunate. I know a few people at NJCU, so we've had some good relationships. In fact, I'm having lunch with their athletic director in a couple of weeks, and
they're building. They're
doing some amazing things. Their AD is new in the last several months. Really, he came over from Rutgers. So there's a lot of I think there's a lot of excitement within Jersey City in terms of the higher ed piece to it. So if there's ways we can always work together, we're going to try and figure that out. And I've done that already. I mean, we've worked together with some other local schools. We've always had to try and share facilities if we have to. I think that we're always open to do that. But if there's other ways we could do it, we are always looking.
Well, Chris Reber is the new president at the community college. Right. He's another one, just as you are doing. He's really, Dr. Gabett did a legendary job, and now he's taking the ball and he's going with it. Now there's a very close relationship with the community college and St. Peter's. Yeah. With the GRE program,
which is great. Yeah. 2
of the biggest programs that are blossoming are the criminal justice and the nursing programs. Yeah. And I had the good fortune of teaching at St. Peter's during the embryonic stages of the criminal justice program, and now it really has blossomed and grown. And how do you see education? This is the typical question: education and athletics.
You know, the proof is there a lot of the times. I mean, if you look at our student athletes at St. Peter's, the overall average GPA amongst our student athlete population is a little shy of a 3.2, which is extraordinary. Our student athletes are some of the hardest working, you know, students on campus. They have to be, because they have to juggle schedules between practices and classes and competition. You know, they have to be, you know, really kind of very organized and on top of what they do. And employers realize that. So I mean, our student athletes usually find a way to be very successful.
Drew Brown.
Yeah, I mean, Drew Brown's a great example. I mean,
awesome gentleman.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So I mean, I mean, we see a lot of those success stories with our student athletes, but they're important members of the campus community, and they understand that better than anybody. We have roughly 250 student athletes who they hear from us all the time how important members that they are of the campus community, and how they have to be seen that way, and they represent the school that way. So they take that seriously.
Ironically, example with Drew, he's known for his athletic prowess. He's set a lot of records. Yeah. Baseball, awesome baseball player, but he's also a big success.
Yeah, I was just with Drew on Monday.
Really?
I was at the Friends of Marty golf outing for baseball. Yeah, I was just with him on Monday.
I wish I knew. I didn't know about it.
It was up on Monday. Yeah, it was great to see him.
Yeah, he did a lot with the Friends of Marty. Absolutely. I still have the shirt. He had a softball tournament the first year I played in.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, they had a nice. I still have the shirt. It's funny. But how would you feel interacting with, for example, on another hat, I'm the county representative. Are you working with the different officials, elected officials in Jersey City, in Hudson County, in the state, or on the federal level? Senator Menendez?
Absolutely.
St. Peters?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Albio,
yeah, no question about it.
Congressman
Albio got to meet last week, which was wonderful. Yeah. And honestly, I see the importance of it. I've been able to kind of recognize that very early on. That's how important it is to interact within the community in that regard. And I've had some great meetings with some freeholders in my first year, and as we've looked to try and see how we can work together on the fields and any other partner on anything else. Worked very closely with the Jersey City Rec already. They've been fantastic as we try to put together programs. Well, Joe Mackey's
the legend. He's the king, Joe Mackey.
There's nobody better than Joe Mackey.
Mr. Jersey City.
I've learned that, and everyone been down there, from Sam and a couple of the people we've worked with have been really helpful in terms of, the rec uses our pool and runs programs for elderly and then for youth, and we're always open to trying to do that. We understand that role, and at the same time, we want our student athletes to be out in the community because they understand how important that is and how important it is for community service. So we're working with the rec department to work on putting clinics together in the community over the summer and even during the spring for school kids, after school programs, all that kind of stuff. Jerry Walker is a good friend of mine, and Team Walker in Jersey City is a tremendous charity that he does great work with for an after school program. And
we want to get you involved in Hoboken, too. I mean, the inner city kids that need the help, we want to expose them to the impact of the quote unquote Jesuit system.
Absolutely.
And even though they dwindle, I know Father Rocco's running around, and he's
the best. Yeah.
And it's good to see that support. Dr. Poyani was my teacher.
She's a sweetheart. She's
yes,
fantastic.
And again, I just think that the energy that you've brought is showing, it's paying dividends already. Jerry speaks highly of you, and Jerry's done a lot for the community. I always tease him. I said, Terry the hair does more. I always tease Jerry all the time.
I love Terry, too. Terry's a good friend, too. I like Terry, too.
Listen, they're pillars of the community.
They're two great guys.
We've all grown up here when no one wanted to be in Jersey City or Hoboken.
Yeah.
And we know the experience, and to each in his own way, of the struggle, to complete what they've done in life.
Sure.
And I think St. Peter's has a positive impact on a lot of us that went there. It does. Yeah. And to see you take that torch and just keep running with it. And so, any other comments before we?
Well, I mean, we want to build an athletic department that, you said that, university was so important to you. We want you to be proud of the school, and athletics are a representation of a university. So we want all of our alumni to kind of rally behind that and to feel that pride and to come back and support it. Obviously, we talked about the community before. Our other part of it is us going out in the community, but also having the community come to us. We want them to come to see these games.
The McMahon Center?
Yeah, exactly. The McMahon Center is an absolutely stunning building, but to come back to campus, come and see what we have built and to see what we are going to build, and to come see the games. Because I think we're gonna put a really exciting brand of basketball on the field, on the court, and then we've certainly done stuff in the fields. So I think coming back to be part of that will be...
Two less trivia questions. There's no more peahens, it's only peacocks.
Only peacocks.
And it's SPU isn't on the hats, it's just SP.
It's just SP on that, but SPU is probably on some things too, but we haven't forgotten it's a university, we know that.
That was a struggle too, it's come a long way.
It has.
And I'm proud of both, as I said, all our institutions. Great to see that you're working together, and you're always welcome to come back on the show.
Thank you.
Let our audience know out there what's going on in their community, both educational-wise here at this great institution, and also athletically, because we want the community involved. And we want everyone to be part of all the educational institutions that we have here in Jersey City, in Hudson County. And Director, your last comment before we go.
Go Peacocks.
Go Peacocks. I'm your freeholder, Anthony Romano. Welcome and thank you for being with us at Stick at Night.